Hi, my name is Karen Boone and I'm a member of the World Transformation Movement. The World Transformation Movement, or WTM, is a not-for-profit organisation promoting the work of Australian biologist Jeremy Griffith about our human condition. The human condition is our capacity for good and evil behaviour, and Jeremy Griffith has solved the human condition using first principle-based biology to explain it. The WTM's website has a whole host of freely available material, such as books, essays, there are videos, testimonials. There's a lot of information that you can look at to learn about the human condition, and also to see some videos about how it changes and transforms human life. The website that you can find that all under is humancondition.com. And the following video that I made was in support of the WTM and in helping to promote this work. And I opened a centre in Staffordshire in England to help anybody locally here to discover this work and have somewhere and someone to discuss it with if they wanted someone locally. There are WTM centres all around the world that are doing the same thing and supporting this work and supporting other people to discover it and look at it. The reason that people are doing that is because this understanding of ourselves is of great significance to us. It will greatly transform our lives. This is completely groundbreaking information that we've never had before. So please continue to look into it. And if you'd like to get in touch with me personally, if you live locally to Staffordshire, then my website is wtmstaffordshire.com. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Karen Boone. I'm 36 years old. I'm a qualified tutor and assessor and I live in Staffordshire in England. I have 2 children, an 18-month-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. I'd like to open a WTM Centre in Staffordshire, and I'd just like to explain a little bit about myself and why I want to do that. I've been a qualified tutor for over 13 years now, and a large part of my career has been working for the employability sector that works in partnership with job centres in the UK. And my role really was to support people who had fallen out of work and were job seeking, to support those people back into work by delivering workshops and courses that help to develop people's skills. And I've always been quite a sensitive person, and as a child I was quite quiet and sensitive, thoughtful. And then as I got older and into my 20s, I realised that I also had a bit of an egotistical side. I could be quite arrogant. But I just kind of accepted that everybody was like that, and everyone has a range of behaviours that we all kind of demonstrate. But it wasn't until I kind of got to my late 20s and early 30s that I started to find my egotistical thoughts, feelings and behaviours just intolerable, and set about trying to sort of eliminate them, really. And so I was exploring things like meditation and Reiki and writing a lot of poetry, kind of followed a little bit of the New Age movement, and just to see, could I eliminate some of those darker thoughts and feelings that I know we all share, but I didn't like them. And I knew that those sort of darker behaviours and thoughts and feelings that we have are actually quite destructive to our world. And I started to realise I didn't really like a lot of our dysfunctional processes that we have in the world. And I thought that maybe the way to change things would be to change myself. Inevitably, though, that phase came to an end, because although I discovered that I do have a very sensitive side, that that I really liked that part of me, the world at large didn't really live in accordance with that very much. So I kind of had to put that to one side and kind of get on with the rest of my life. Then I had my children, and I discovered as a mother that although I loved my children, I found motherhood really difficult. I just found it very exhausting, very demanding. I felt that my own basic needs went without being met for long periods. And I found that there are times as a parent that you feel you are struggling and you are just trying to make it through. And although friends and family tried to sort of comfort me when I was having difficult times, I tried to say, everybody experiences this. It's hard for everyone. Internally, there was something really deep inside me that just really refused to accept that it was this hard for everyone and that we just have to get on with it. I really just found that really difficult to accept. And so I just kept an eye out really for anything that would help to benefit my life, my mental health, my friends and family as well. And that's when I noticed in October last year, 2019, an advert on Facebook for this book and for the WTM. And so I spent a couple of months looking at the introductory videos on the website. And by the December of last year, I asked my husband if I could have this book for Christmas. And he also bought me a couple of other of Jeremy's books as well for Christmas. Then in the January of this year, 2020, I started to read this book. And I also contacted the World Transformation Movement in Sydney, because initially I had questions about the death effect, which is spoken about in the first video of the introductory videos. When I started to receive emails back from the World Transformation Movement, I was completely blown away by how supportive they were, how knowledgeable they were, and how much they were willing to help me understand this information and make sense of my own life. So that enabled me to read Freedom, understanding my own journey a little bit more. And I also started to take part in some discussion groups as well about this groundbreaking information that Jeremy Griffith presents. As I read it and finished it, I just realised that it's absolutely amazing work that all human beings really need to hear. What really helped me massively was the information about our sensitive instincts and how we acquired them. And also why at this point in humanity we are not living really in accordance with them. What has happened in human evolution for us to arrive at this point where we weren't living the way that we felt we should be living. So that was really, really important for me to read. Also, what I loved reading about was integrative meaning. That just really set my world alight. I was absolutely so overwhelmingly happy to read that chapter that I ran downstairs as soon as I'd finished it and tried to explain to my husband what I'd read, because it just made sense of everything I had always felt, and now my brain was kind of catching up and reading information about it. It just, for me, was groundbreaking information that we've never had before about the evolution of the planet and where human evolution is within that. And it really just, from a scientific perspective, gives meaning to human life that I would never have expected to come across ever. And so it completely reconciles science, religion, spirituality. And there is just so much information in this book that I kept on reading, and I was reading about how our conscious mind developed, and the instinct versus intellect sort of battle, and understanding that just became so much clearer the more I read through it. Understanding the whole history of our species for the first time. I've never ever heard, seen, read anything like this ever before. A truthful account of the history of human evolution, and why we've never had this information before, why science had to arrive at a certain point for us to be able to understand ourselves completely. I was just completely blown away by it, and I just felt that if I can do anything to help another person or other people arrive at this same understanding, then I think it's really important that I do what I can to help and support that. So I'm opening the WTM Centre in Staffordshire just to open up another channel of discussion and communication about this work, because I found that the more I kind of discussed and reflected on it with other people, the more I was able to digest and absorb a lot of these concepts, because they are new and they are so truthful. They explain everything so clearly, so well. And Jeremy has just done an excellent job of providing such a logical explanation throughout the book that it is very easy to follow. Even if you are obviously not particularly scientific like myself, I've never really particularly looked at any science information before in any depth, but I found this very easy to follow. So I think it's just really important that I open a centre to help anyone else's discovery of this information, and really how it really does do what it says it will do, and it really does save the world. It really does save human beings, because ultimately the lack of not knowing all this information is actually what causes our anxiety, our depression, and our whole range of mental health problems that we come across. All that will be eliminated for us with this understanding. And so the freedom that Jeremy describes is actually a psychological freedom and an emotional freedom that we then gain from reading this and from understanding it, which then provides a practical freedom and a physical freedom in our world, because our actions and behaviours will be so much different now that we have a better understanding of ourselves. So that's why I'm opening a centre, and I very much look forward to anybody that is looking into this and would like to sort of start discussing it further with other people. Okay, thank you very much.